What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching. Man, that song was so cool, but I didn't like it. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I liked it, but I didn't like it. But I really like this album a lot. This was the most, out of all the albums I listened to so far, this is because we did Lorna Shore, Sleeping with Sirens, Varials, Counterparts, and Architects. This one was my favorite out of the 6 that I did to catch up on my album reactions, because again, I was gone for a little bit. I love this, man. So I'm super excited to talk about it with you guys here. So my first listen review for Boundaries, Bearing Brightness coming up next. So stick around for that. All right, my friends. So again, that was the band Boundaries and their new album, Burying Brightness. Absolutely loved it. Thought it was just probably the most underrated thing I've heard in the entire year in the best way possible. I feel like this album is going to be slept on because, again, Architects has a new album out. Lorna Shore is making all the headlines in the metal scene. So I feel like albums like this and Varials are going to be swept under the rug because these other 2 bands release these huge projects. So sincerely, like, give this album a listen, support them. This album was super sick, and I have nothing but positive things I want to say about it. Number one, I really liked the metalcore riffs in this here. I thought the riffs in this album were so sick. It was, I believe it was on a No One Will Mourn Here. That sounded like a Killswitch Engage type riff, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was really cool as well that they incorporated that hardcore sound as well, especially with a lot of the breakdowns. There were some hardcore riffs, I would say, that were in there, but I really loved the blend of like metalcore riffs and like hardcore breakdowns, along with the vocals, the singing vocals. The melodies on these albums were really good as well. But I think the biggest thing for me is that this album was full of surprises. Not one song, well, except maybe one, not any of the songs besides the song I'm thinking of here bored me at all. Like, I was so engaged this entire album. You know I'm engaged if I'm laughing like really hard, or if I'm not taking a lot of notes because I'm like, crap, I need to take notes for the review. And I didn't really take a ton of notes on it because I was just so invested in the album. That's how good it was here. Each song had such really cool surprises in them, cool guitar parts, great vocals, and great melodies to kind of hold you in as well. I think the melody, again, is a really big part that I really like about this album. So all those combined together made a super incredible metalcore and hardcore album put into one. You'll love to see it. You just absolutely love to see it. So I do only have one con with this album, and I'm not gonna lie to you here, it's going to be The Tower. Now, I thought this song, as I said, this song was really cool. Kinda. Like, so this is a song that I felt like could have been split into 2 different parts. I think it's cool they kind of subverted expectations, kind of like holding you on the edge of your seat a little bit here, doing that super duper long interlude. But for me personally, I didn't like it. I'm not a fan of long songs, so again, this is kind of just my own personal, nitpick, I guess you could say. I mean, again, Metal Burp uploaded this song, and it seems like he loved it. I haven't watched his reaction yet, but he was telling me that this song, or like on this thumbnail, it was saying like it's a super cool ending, and I was looking forward to that, and the ending definitely surprised me. It felt like just another song, and again, I just felt like they could have split that into 2 songs, and I think it would have been way better. Again, the beginning of the song was super melodic, kind of eerie. I loved that, and then the middle of it just kind of left me a little bit bored. It wasn't really engaging. I know it was to build up to the last part of the song, which I do like, but I guess the build up to the song, I just wasn't a big fan of. So The Tower, while it's being really cool in some parts, it honestly kind of it mainly just bored me in the middle. And again, I personally don't like long songs, so if you like long songs, this is probably right up your alley, but for me, this just wasn't it. My top 3 favorite songs. This was actually really hard to pick because I legitimately liked every single song on the album. That's including The Tower. I did like it. but it just bored me a little bit. But that song was really cool. But I gotta say, our first initial impressions, number one, Heaven's Broken Heart. That was, to me, was just perfect. I love that song. I thought that song was super heavy, had a mix of metalcore and hardcore in there. I just love that feeling of that song. I know that song came out a little while ago, but that'd probably be my pick to upload to YouTube personally. I thought that song was fantastic. I also really liked Realize and Rebuild. I love that spoken word part in there. As I said, I really only heard August Burns Red do like spoken words in their songs before for that long period of time, and I thought they did a really good job of that. It didn't feel like they were copying August Burns Red or anything. That song also felt like it had a little bit of a Ghost Inside type feel to it here with some of the riffs, and I really liked that song. Really felt the emotion in that. I really dug it. I love live music videos like that. It's always really cool to see fans come out and having a good time jam these people's music. And then honestly, it was kind of tied between My Body's a Cage and Bearing Brightness, but I think I'm going to give it to My Body's a Cage. That one was just a straight up hardcore song through and through, and ever since Kyle kind of introduced me to hardcore, I'm really liking a lot of hardcore nowadays. Metalcore will always have my heart, but hardcore is right up there as well. So again, those are my top 3 favorite songs from this album, just on the first initial listen. It may change as I listen to it again, but again, those 3 songs are the ones that really stuck out to me the most. Absolute bangers through and through. As I always talk about before, I'm so happy that I decided to make the choice to do YouTube and Patreon, because honestly, without doing these, I probably wouldn't discover wonderful bands like Boundaries. This album was so sick. This album definitely wouldn't have been on my radar if people weren't telling me you should definitely check it out here. So honestly, like, I'm so happy that I get to do this. Like, it's just fantastic. And that being said, this album was incredible. There are so many cool surprises on there. Again, because there's other big bands releasing music around this time, again, Lauren Shore, Architects, those types of things, this album is going to get swept under the rug big time. So again, if you like what you hear, make sure you go support this band. I personally think this album is better than Pain Remains and the classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit. If I'm going to compare it to the big two, Architects, Lauren Shore, I thought this album was way better than both of those here. I just love the metalcore riffs. I love the hardcore feel. I love the melody in this album. Everything about it worked except the last song, in my personal opinion. But overall, man, this album was an absolute home run, a heater through and through. I'm giving Boundaries' new album, Bearing Brightness, a 9 out of 10. Absolutely will probably make it on my list for top 10 albums of 2022. I cannot wait to listen to it again in my own free time. I loved it that much.